Hola a todos y bienvenido. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Aprenda Español, which as you may know, it is a formal command that translates to learn Spanish. And that is the exact goal of this channel, to help as many people as possible learn Spanish and improve upon their Spanish. Now in this video, I will be showing you in exact order the very first video to the very last video that I plan on uploading in this Spanish video series. That way you have an exact idea of the type of content you can expect in the future. We start off with Unit 1 on the parts of speech, the very basics and fundamentals of the Spanish language. We have nouns and articles, and there will be several different lessons on pronouns, because there are many different types of pronouns to cover. We then have a very basic summary of verbs. Later on in Unit 2 and Unit 3, we will discuss verbs in a lot more detail. We have several lessons on adjectives because there are also several different types of adjectives to address. Adverbs, prepositions, and conjunctions. In Unit 2, we have verb tenses and moods. This includes the regular verb conjugations as well as the uses of each tense and mood. We have the present tense, the imperfect, preterite, the differences between the imperfect and preterite, the future, and conditional. We will have a few different lessons on the present subjunctive because there are many different rules to address regarding the subjunctive. The imperfect subjunctive, the imperative mood, as well as some irregular commands. This is the only lesson in Unit 2 that will include the irregular forms of certain verbs. And we have the future subjunctive. Unit 3 covers irregular verb conjugations. Many people do struggle with learning irregular verbs in foreign languages, so hopefully this unit will make it easier for you to understand irregular verbs in the Spanish language. We start off with irregular verb conjugations under the present tense, then the imperfect and preterite. Irregular verbs under the future and conditional will be combined into one lesson. We have irregular verbs under the present subjunctive, imperfect subjunctive, and future subjunctive. Certain verbs have multiple irregularities, so this lesson will specifically address those types of verbs. And then we have irregular prefix verbs, which simply attach a prefix at the beginning of another irregular verb, and then follow the same pattern of conjugations as usual. Unit 4 covers compound tenses. We start off with the progressive tenses, which include the use of the present participle. We then have other uses of the present participle and irregular present participles. Perfect tenses use the past participle, and then we have another lesson discussing other uses of the past participle, as well as irregular past participles. And then we combine the progressive and perfect tenses to create the perfect progressive tenses. Unit 5 explores certain verbs that can be used in a variety of ways, starting off with ser and estar, and the differences between these two verbs. We also have the uses of haber, tener, hacer, and echar. One lesson will combine the uses and expressions of ir, venir, decir, poder, dar, ver, and saber. We then have reflexive verbs and verbs that behave like gustar. Unit 6 is on miscellaneous topics, including the differences between por and para, si clauses and conditional sentences, telling time and dates in Spanish, and Spanish numbers. The final unit, Unit 7, is a review unit and will contain the longest lessons of this series. We start off with the review of nouns and pronouns, review of adjectives, reviewing adverbs, prepositions, and conjunctions, a review of all regular conjugations and participles. Part 1 of the irregular review, containing the present, imperfect, preterite, future, and conditional, and Part 2 of the irregular review, containing the subjunctive, imperfect subjunctive, imperative mood and commands, and participles. And then we have the review of irregulars, grouped according to the type of verb, rather than the tense or mood, like the two previous lessons. We will then have an abridged review of all irregular verbs and their conjugations, a review of all compound tenses, and a review of subjunctive rules. So yeah, that right there, that pretty much sums up the course outline for this Spanish video series. If you could please do me a favor and share this video series with your friends and teachers to help spread the word, I would very much appreciate that. And that is all for now, so until next time.